educator wondering how you'll cover the gap between what your pension and the retirement income you truly need is, you're in the right place. This episode is designed just for you, giving you the tools and resources to calculate your shortfall and build a personalized plan to bridge it so you can retire on your terms. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this episode of the Educator's Financial Foresight Weekly. Teachers, you give so much every day. You're shaping lives and you're inspiring the future. But when it comes to your retirement, the path forward can feel uncertain. If you're an educator juggling demands of busy schedules and financial stress, you are not alone. Many teachers worry about outliving their savings, or managing their pension, or ensuring long-term care without burdening their family. With pensions often alone falling short, many educators struggle to bridge the gap between what they need and what they have for a secure retirement. That's where Educators Financial Foresight Weekly comes in. Each week, I'll guide you through clear, actionable steps to understand your pension and spot hidden gaps, build retirement income strategy tailored to your needs, protect your savings from inflation and unexpected costs, and plan for long-term care and estate needs without burdening your loved ones. Your career has been about making a difference. Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and LinkedIn. Let's build a retirement as rewarding as your career. Welcome to this week's episode of the Educators Financial Foresight Weekly. I am your host, Debbie Major. Did you know that the average teacher's pension just covers about 60% of their pre-retirement income? This leaves a big question, like how will you cover the rest? Stick with us, and by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to calculate and close your pension gap without sacrificing the retirement that you deserve. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back again. My name is Debbie Major with teachersroadmap.com. Last week, we explored how to calculate your pension amount so you won't be surprised when you retire. Well, today we're going to dive into understanding the pension gap and what steps you can take to fill it. This chart that I'm sharing here is just to give you a visual of what your needs are in retirement versus what your pension is going to provide in retirement. Like as we said before, the average teacher pension is going to replace about 60% of the pre-retirement income. Experts recommend that you replace 80 to 90% of your pre-retirement income. So stay tuned to learn how to identify your pension gap and address it. Pensions are your cornerstone, but they don't cover 100% of what you need. Then there's other things you want to think about. The first one is your cost of living adjustment, or COLA. The COLA is not guaranteed. It's important because that's what's going to keep you up with inflation. But since it's not guaranteed, it doesn't mean you're going to get one each year. And even if you get one, it may not keep up with inflation. So your dollars are buying less things. And when can it happen and really hurt? Like 10, 15, 20 years down the road, when you're not in a place where you can pick up extra income somewhere else, or you don't want to go back to work or can't go back to work. So it's important that you factor in the cost of living adjustment that you will need for your lifestyle. Secondly, you want to think about your healthcare costs. You may get a healthcare plan through your state retirement system, and it may be great. It's still probably going to have a premium. You're still going to probably have co-pays, co-insurance, deductibles. All those things play into healthcare plans, prescriptions. What about dental, vision, hearing? Or you may go on Medicare. Medicare has a premium. You have to get a prescription plan. You've got co-pays and co-insurance. And there is no max out of pocket on original Medicare. So no matter what, there will be healthcare costs. And we know that as we get older, our healthcare costs tend to increase and not decrease. And this doesn't even count long-term care costs, which most everybody doesn't want to talk about. Long-term care costs can be thousands of dollars a month for you to be in a long-term care facility, whether that be independent living or assisted living or even nursing home or memory care. And this should be all in the plan. And because all of it's going to need to be paid for somehow. So you need to have a plan for how it's going to be paid for and to fill the pension gap that also includes all of these other things like your cost of living insurance, cost of living adjustment, your healthcare cost, and long-term care needs. Okay, but there's good news. You have actionable steps you can take today, and you've got several choices of what to do to fill this gap. Where to put your money, how to put your money, and how it all works together. So your first choice is going to be employer help. By that I mean you can go through an employer plan like a 403B or 457 that's offered through companies with contracts with your school districts, and the employer will take it out at payroll. This is great for people who want automatic savings. They don't want to have to think about it again. It is taken out for you pre-tax, which means that your taxable income will be lower, which means your taxes will be lower. People like that a lot. And sometimes it even means you can save a little bit more into it, which is another plus that you could get from those 403B or 457 plans. It is saved pre-tax, and it goes for you tax deferred, which means you're not going to pay any taxes until you go to take it out in retirement. Now, when you go to take it out in retirement, all of it's going to be taxed. So you want to be aware of that. The second thing you could do is you could say, well, gosh, what about if taxes are higher in the future? It sure looks like they may have to go up. Well, you do have some tax-free or tax advantage options. The first one is a Roth IRA. You can do that outside. You can start it up at a bank, at a brokerage account, through your financial advisor. You can put in money for that. And our rules, the biggest rule is going to be your 5 years. And it's still going to want the 59.5 for the most part. There are some ways you can take out money besides that. But the wonderful thing about the Roth IRA is when you go take it out in the future in retirement, everything is tax-free. Whatever you put in, whatever you earned, everything is tax-free. The other tax-free option you have is cash value life insurance. Did you know that not only can you get a death benefit from life insurance, but you can also pick a policy that where you can actually grow money inside the policy that then can be accessed tax-free also. So you've got another avenue that you can go where you actually get some benefit besides just the tax savings. And when you need that money to supplement your retirement income, you can take it out from the cash value of that life insurance. That's another one that is tax advantaged or tax-free. Thirdly, you can also just sign up or start an investment account at a brokerage. You can sign up for an investment account. You can put money in each month. You can watch it grow. You can, pick your stocks or your bonds or your ETFs or however you want to invest it. And when you're taxed, the way you're taxed on that is called capital gains. And that's taxed just on the growth of what that is. There are other things that people have tried. Those are the main three, that 403B, 457, your Roth IRA, your cash value life insurance, your brokerage accounts. Those are the main ways that people will save. But some people also like to get rental property, and they get rental income for their when they retire, and they use that as like a second pension to supplement their income. Or other things that you may want to do. Some people have second jobs. Some people do different things like that to make sure that they have that pension gap met. So figure out what your pension is and figure out where you want to go, and then start saving. That's the most important thing. Start now, start saving. In my experience as a financial planner and a former educator, the key to closing the pension gap is creating a plan that is tailored to you and your needs. Because things like your age, your marital status, if you're divorced, when you want to retire, what your budget looks like and your debt looks like, savings that you have now, what kind of risk you're willing to take or want to take. Things like these make general advice tough to be accurate. You need to know how to maximize your income, reduce your taxes, and live your dreams. Here's an example of how this worked for one of my clients. questions on how do I calculate my pension and how do I how do I figure out what I'm actually going to get. All right. Well, here's an easy way to do the formula. You can always look at your state's website. That'll tell you the exact numbers that you can use. But a good rule of thumb is take your last, what you expect to make your last 3 to 5 years and average it out. Once you've averaged that out and you know your number of years of teaching when you're going to retire, you take those number of years you've been teaching, multiply it by 2%, because that's about the middle of the road for what most people will get, times that final average salary. If you do that, for example, for 30 years, it's going to be 60%. So that's why I use 60% a lot, because that's 2% middle of the road. You may have it as high as 2.2% or 2.5%, maybe even. You may have it as low as 1.8%. You know, I've seen it across the board. So that's what I'm saying. We just want an estimate, especially if you're far away from retiring. If you're close to retiring, we can figure it out very close to what you would actually have to expect. But if you're far away and you're not sure and you've got 20 years to go or even 10 years to go, you just want an estimate, because you want to make sure you've got somewhere to start to say, okay, now I've got a cornerstone. And that's what a cornerstone is. It's somewhere to start. It's something we know is there. All right. The second question that I get an awful lot is, I don't have any extra money now. I've got a new house, or I just had kids, or, I'm really not making a whole lot. I mean, it's a real struggle. And I know it's a real struggle because I was there. What I realized, though, is there never is a right time. Right times don't really usually exist. There's usually always a pull on your life. Educators are giving people. They give up their time. They give up they're generous in their wealth. They're busy. They're giving people. And it is time for you to give and make sure you're giving to your future self, because you are going to be there. That time passes. I know sometimes it's hard to see it. And then sometimes when we look back, we say, how did it happen so fast? So don't think of this as being extra money that you have to take and put aside. Think of it as being your money for your future self, because you're going to need that money when you get there. You're going to need it. And you got to start somewhere. So if you have to, start small as you can. If you do a 403B account, sometimes they'll let you do a pretty small amount just to get started there. Start something. 6 months to a year later, make it increased. Increase it every year. Increase it as much as you can every year. Use time to your advantage. And this is really something that we can't get back. And so I know I kind of harp on it. I know I said it last week, and I've said it in videos I've done before. But you can't get time back. Time just keeps marching on, and you want that time to work for you. Don't let it work against you. So the best way to do that is to start and to keep it going. Increase it. Keep it going. Keep it going. You get something extra, throw it in there. Keep it going. And remember that you will be using this money. This money is for you. It's not being put out to someone else. It actually is for you. And no one's going to be giving you a loan for your retirement. And no one's going to be saying, oh, Susan, I really want to just give you some extra money so that you can meet that pension gap, or the cost of living increase. I feel bad you didn't get one, so I'm going to give you some money. It's not going to happen. It's always going to be dependent on us to take advantage of whatever we can. So I encourage you to take advantage of whatever you can. To wrap up today's episode, your pension gap doesn't have to be overwhelming. With your right strategies and the right plan tailored just for you, you can retire on your terms. So remember, taking small steps today lead to big results tomorrow. If you are ready to take control of your retirement, download our free pension gap worksheet, or you can schedule a 15 consultation with me today. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe this station and come back next week and every week for Educators Financial Foresight Weekly. Thanks so much. I'm Debbie Major. Have a great week.